Hey there, guys. What's up? Jeremy here, Consciousness Awake. How's everyone doing? Today, I want to do one more upload here in regards to etheric vampires in the etheric plane, and so I want to talk about talk about this one more video, and then I'm going to jump into a bunch of other stuff with the next uploads. I discussed how I had my own personal experiences with a etheric vampire in my out-of-body experiences when I was younger. And so I discussed going into that in more detail and just doing my best right now to just explain the details of it and express it in a way to where it makes sense and to where you can understand the experience. Okay, so when it happened initially, I was like almost 20 years old. So over like maybe about a 3-year period of time, through multiple out-of-body experiences, I had these run-ins with one, at least what I perceived as a male. An actual etheric vampire that was feeding off of the chi or the etheric energy of each person of every human, right? So it's like not a vampire in the physical form, but a vampire whose consciousness is now focus centered in the etheric plane, in that etheric body, and for whatever reason, this being decided and had the mental intent to reside and continue in the etheric plane and wanting to stay there because, as I've mentioned before in some other videos, the etheric body, after physical death, you go into your etheric body in most case scenarios, and at least initially, right after physical death. Not always, but what I'm trying to say is that the etheric body has a death process also, but consciousness can exist in the etheric body indefinitely or for a very, very long period of time if it essentially turns into a etheric vampire and feeds off of life force or chi and the ether and all that kind of stuff. So at least that's the way I understand it. So here, my experience with this one being started again. I was about maybe almost 20 years old or so. I think 19 at the time. I was living with a roommate. And I moved there, and I was maybe there for a month or so. And then at about 5 a.m. in the morning, I had one of these, spontaneous sleep paralysis, out-of-body experiences. Woke up in sleep paralysis, and popped out of body, and went down the hallway and went into this larger room where my roommate was sleeping. And as I walk into the room, on my right side, there's a huge mirror. Like it's like a wall mirror, from like literally the bottom of the carpet going all the way up almost to the top of the ceiling. It's this huge mirror. And I'm out of body, okay? And as I walk into my roommate's room, just by accident, we were in a 2-bedroom apartment, and my room was like right next to that other area, so I just for whatever reason went that way. I wasn't trying to snoop on my roommate or anything like that. It was just by accident. And so I go into the room, but as I went into the room, I didn't see any like beings in there or anything strange or odd going on. But what happened was, in that big mirror, as I'm out of body, in the mirror, I see the reflection of what you just a male being, dark black hair. Literally almost looked like he had like a black cape on and stuff. He looked like a vampire. I mean, literally, or at least that's what I perceived at that time. And he had these like these cords. They looked like almost like ropes, like energetic cords, and they were coming from him, and they were going and they were connected to my roommate's etheric energy or astral energy, for that matter. I don't know, but I'll get more into why I keep using the term etheric vampires specifically in a moment. And so in the mirror reflection, I see that being with those energetic cords attached to my roommate, just feeding off of him as he's sleeping. So I see it in the mirror while on a body, and then I turn my vision towards the bed area to where I was seeing it in the mirror. And it was like, I didn't see it at first, but then all of a sudden I can kind of start seeing the manifestation of that, you know what I mean? Like of what I saw in the mirror. And then I was thinking it was just like, I'm just like creating it on my own, you know what I mean? Like, it's just something I'm manifesting through my thoughts and stuff. And then like a split second later, that what I'm calling an etheric vampire being, it just zips right in front of me, like it just moved. I can see like the outline of it, kind of like smoky looking and stuff, and it's really interesting. But it like smoke, and it came right in front of my face, like all of a sudden, and I could see its face, very human, just like what you would think of a vampire in a movie, watching a movie, right? Just that kind of look, younger, but really young looking, like 18 or 20, like in their 20s, like it just looked like a younger person. And telepathically, this being didn't speak to me, but I could hear it loud and clear, just telepathically, and it basically was saying, you shouldn't be able to see me or something like that. Like, how did you notice me? How did you see me? It was very inquisitive, trying to figure out how I actually spotted this being, because it seems like this being just adores and loves to feed off of ignorance and the lack of knowing about the existence of this being. But anyways, so it got a little mad at me, and then what it did was it basically created like a reality shift for me, where I was out of body in that room, right? And it basically reality shifted me into another reality construct. And as it was happening, telepathically, this etheric vampire being was saying, it was saying a few different things, but the main message was, let's see if you can let's see if you can break out of this, or something like that, something along those lines. It was like it was testing my consciousness. And I have to say one more thing. It's like whatever these these vampire beings or etheric vampires are, they have also the ability to manipulate consciousness. So that's the other thing I wanted to say also. But so it basically took me and reality shifted me into another reality construct. And in this reality construct, it was very Earth-like, but when you looked up in the sky, you can literally see like a cage of like bars just crisscrossing all over the sky, very metallic looking, and it was like very prison-like, So imagine just going outside here on Earth and looking up at the sky and being enclosed in some kind of huge prison cell, right? And so when I was in there, I remember how he was telepathically saying that it's kind of like, let's see if you can break out of this or something, right? So I used the power of my own consciousness while out of body and while being reality shifted by this being, and I basically just flew up into the sky and just went up to the top of this cage-like structure, and I just broke it. I just broke it with my willpower, with my intent. And it's like you kind of think it, and it's kind of mental intention. There's a lot of that involved, but you're also just kind of doing it. So you're definitely combining the action with like the intent, right? Those are all kind of tied in together, in my opinion. And so I broke out of it. And I reality shifted. As I broke out of it, I reality shifted to other reality constructs that I've been to before at that time, just accidentally. Like there's certain ones I've revisited a few times, so then I could just like think about that place and just kind of and just go there, right? And so so over the next few years after that, and again, when this all happened, I didn't really understand what was happening as I understand it currently now. I've had time to learn, assess the experiences and kind of figure out what they were. But but at that time, over 20 years ago, it was kind of confusing. All I was able to do was just kind of keep track and collect the data and just have that information and just take the time to figure out the experiences. But over the next few years after that, there was multiple times where when I got out of body, if it was intentionally or if it was spontaneously, I almost kind of like looked and searched for this etheric vampire, because when this being was taking over and manipulating my consciousness and reality shifting me against my own free will, it kind of like pissed me off in a way. I was kind of mad about it, and so I had some emotions, strong emotions about that. So some of those strong emotions carried over into multiple out of bodies where I got out of body, and the only thing I was trying to do is find this etheric vampire or demand its presence so that I can communicate to it more and just kind of like prove to this being that it can't like mess with me, just to know that I am more powerful. I am more powerful. My consciousness is more powerful than what this being is, and that's a good mentality to have too if you're into astral projection, into out-of-body experiences, and exploring consciousness. You have to be fearless, and having that fearless energy with you, really helps a lot with your experiences, and it makes your experiences way more on the positive end. When you get to that point, because if you live in fear, if you live in that fear vibration, the fear vibration just kind of drags you down vibrationally, and when you get out of body and if you're in a lower vibrational state, your energy is going to attract what you're putting out. What kind of vibration you're putting out is what it's going to attract. So it's very important to be fearless about exploring the reality of your spirit, the reality of your soul. But anyways, yeah. So over the next couple few years, I had other run-ins with this being, to where I literally found it, just like in other like maybe like a couple few blocks away from where I originally saw it when it was feeding off of my roommate. So it was definitely working like an area. It was working a certain part or area on the physical plane, because several times I kept finding it either with cords into people's etheric energy, or just hanging around or doing this or doing that. But it was very like localized, very localized. And there's one thing I want to add. I'm at 15 minutes here. The one thing I want to add is there was this one time where this etheric vampire being, it's almost like it like really kind of respected me in a certain way, to where it was like, wow, like this person, this Jeremy guy, he's very conscious and awake and aware while in these out-of-body experiences. And it's almost like it rewarded me with some information. And the only really good piece of information that I ever really got from this being was that it basically told me telepathically, one of those times when I ran into it, those several times over those couple years, is iron. Not iron, but like it said, if you ever run into any kind of difficulty in this realm, make sure to be carrying an iron sword, or I think, and also iron, like an iron dagger, right, or iron sword, something like that, like some kind of weapon. And it basically, and I think I've heard of this before. I'm not sure if I maybe read about it like years ago or not. I don't remember. But something about iron, the metal, that how it kind of like destabilizes etheric energy. I'm gonna have to look into that again. I'm kind of having a brain fart right now, hard to remember, but it has something to do with carrying a sword or dagger made out of iron. And if you're in the etheric plane, you basically, if you want to have that kind of weapon, you have to manifest it. You have to materialize it through your thoughts and manifest it. And apparently that's the best protection tool or weapon against any etherical being that's trying to do anything negative to you. All right, well, anyways, 18 minutes. Sorry, guys. All right, peace. I hope I kind of helped explain some of those experiences with that, what I would call this etheric vampire kind of being that I ran into and what I witnessed and saw. But remember, just because there's some of this weird stuff going on out there, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the etheric and astral planes. Doesn't mean that there's all the positive stuff too, okay? And as you do astral projection, as you, your first 100 astral projections, you're going to run into some weird stuff and negativity and good stuff, good experiences. But as you do it more and more, and if you're doing it right in that space of no fear, then, and having control over your intentions and thoughts, you will, all your experiences will become more and more positive. That's all I'm saying. Alrighty, you guys have a nice one. Talk to you later.